Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Love ya, Caleb here. And I thought this might be interesting to react to, especially considering what's going on right now. Anyway, let's check it out. I'll see if I agree with him or not.
Уточнение. Просто мой вопрос был не только о американо-иранских отношениях, но и о американо-российских отношениях и наличиях, согласны вы с этим или нет, идеологических фундаментальных противоречий по ключевым вопросам международного права.
Перед встречей с Обамой вы меня прямо и так и толкаете.
Ну, это же очень важно, потому что если страна считает, что ей позволено больше, чем всем остальным, то...
Я думал, что вы не заметите. Нет, вы заметили. Вы действительно такой цепкий боец. Значит, у нас идеологических противоречий на сегодняшний день практически нет. У нас есть фундаментальные культурологические. В основе американского самосознания лежит индивидуалистическая идея.
Oh man, it's hard to say. I think Americans are individual in terms of being able to kind of express yourself how you want, but in terms of trying to have some sort of care for others, I think a lot of people are collectivistic.
Коллективистская. Вот есть один из исследователей Пушкина, который об этом очень точно и ясно сказал. Вот в «Унесенные ветром», помните, там главная героиня, она говорит, что я не могу себе представить, что я буду голодать. Вот для нее это самое главное. А в нашем представлении русского человека, все-таки другие задачи. Это что-то такое за горизонт уходящее, что-то такое душевное, что-то такое связанное с Богом. Понимаете, это немножко разные философии жизни. И поэтому понять друг друга довольно сложно нас, но можно.
Для этого, наверное, есть международное право.
I think he sort of spoke on that in terms of sort of vague terms, but from what I see is that I think that's maybe what he wants Russians to be like, but I don't really see Russians that way. I think part of the problem is because of this communistic governmental system creates poverty, so people don't have much, so people then turn to just look out for themselves. And so there's a company in America called Costco, and they have an extremely generous return policy. It's like within a year you can return virtually anything. And so Russian people will come to America and will just use something for like a year and then take it back. And then they might buy it again and then just take it back before the year's up. Of course, not all Russian people, but I know a Russian person that like got a MacBook and they just used it for a while and turned it and then took it back, which is fine if you. The policies are supposed to be like this is something you really are intent on buying, you want to use, and just in case something maybe goes wrong in your life, or if you find it just really didn't work out the way you thought it would after getting more into it, then take it back. The Russians seem to use these policies more so to just kind of get away with not paying for things. From stories I've heard of Soviet Russia, there's a lot of people would sort of just take whatever they could get away with taking and not be caught with, so essentially stealing. I think this goes back to a moral deficiency, and then that causes wealth inequality, and then that causes people to think that communism is good, and then that causes wealth to go down, and then that causes people to take whatever they can get. So I think this is what kind of Putin wants it to be, but I don't think that humans are naturally really like this. I think they are, if they have good morals, after making sure that they'll survive and live, then they look to help others. But if you don't have the morals there, then they're not going to do that. I mean, Russia is known for having oligarchs that control most of the country's wealth. They don't seem to be going along with his philosophy.
Ну да. Ну вот Соединенные Штаты, безусловно, демократическая страна, и она развивалась изначально как демократическое государство. Ведь когда люди начали осваивать этот континент, они приезжали, выстраивали отношения друг с другом. И по факту жизни вынуждены были это делать в диалоге друг с другом. Поэтому она изначально рождалась как фундаментальная демократия. Вместе с тем, не будем забывать, что освоение американского континента, вы меня заводите прямо в депри, мне не хочется об этом говорить, но освоение американского континента началось с крупномасштабной этнической чистки, которая не имела себе равных в истории человечества. Ведь европейцы, когда туда приехали, они этим и занимались. Надо прямо об этом сказать.
That's, I think, more than ridiculous, actually, because throughout history, there's always been countries going against each other, and then one country coming in, taking over, and kicking another group out or killing the group, just because it was one of the most recent times in history when like a big chunk of land was taken over by another group. It doesn't mean, oh, this is unprecedented. No, it's happened many, many times over in history.
Она, не знаю, вот человечеству не так много известно из истории. Ну, скажем, уничтожение Карфагена римлянами, да, когда они уходили, они даже землю, так вот легенда гласит, солью посыпали, что там ничего не росло. А освоение американского континента европейцами, там землю никто не посыпал, потому что ее использовали, но уничтожали коренное население. После этого американская история знает рабство. И оно так глубоко проникло. Ведь Колин Пауэлл еще в своей книжке написал, как ему было тяжело. Человеку с темным цветом кожи тяжело было пробиваться, как он всегда чувствовал на себе взгляды окружающих. Значит, это сидит наверняка до сих пор в душах и сердцах людей.
As if there's no racists in Russia. I think Russia would have a rude awakening if they had a huge amount of people of different countries coming in and dealing with culture shocks. And it's easy to point fingers when you have almost singular ethno-state, sort of mix Mongolian, Russian type of people on the border of Russian, but it's not that different culturally.
Ведь, ну, вот смотрите, мы знаем, во всяком случае сегодня, очень многие стороны советского режима. Знаем Сталина, да? Так, как раньше мы его не знали. Знаем, что это был диктатор, тиран. Я очень сомневаюсь, чтобы Сталин весной 1945 года, если бы у него была атомная бомба, применил бы ее против Германии. В 1941-1942 году, когда стоял...
I don't know what to say about that. I disagree.
Стоял вопрос о жизни или смерти государства, может быть, применил, если бы у него было. А в 1945-м, когда уже противник все сдавался, по сути дела, шансов у него никаких нет.
It's so radically different. Germany was about to capitulate. Japan was not. It wasn't a thought to them. They were dead set on continuing to fight to the last man, woman, and child. Germany, they did try to do that, but it wasn't really working out. Not everybody was on board with that. And they had already burned so many of their people. It was a land war, so they were going to get to the center of the city. They were going to take the capital in any amount of time. It wouldn't have made a difference. Whereas Japan would have had to make more landings, would have had to go. And the ideology was different in that they thought they were protecting an emperor that was a god. And though Hitler was nearly that, arguably, in some people's mind, it just wasn't the same. And Germans mostly figured that. From what I've heard, historians, that they figured that, I mean, they're living in rubble in Berlin. They're not going to push back and win at that point. Whereas Japan, I believe the mainland had seen little or no war at all. So there's still a lot to go.
Не было. Я сомневаюсь, вот я лично. А американцы применили против Японии терпящее поражение, причем против неядерного государства. Знаете, вот у нас большие различия между нами. Но это ведь нормально, когда люди с такими большими различиями полны решимости искать пути, которые помогают понимать друг друга. И мне представляется, что у нас нет другого выбора. И более того, ведь не случайно, что в критические периоды современной новейшей истории Россия и Соединенные Штаты объединялись и в Первую мировую войну, и во Вторую мировую войну. Вот как бы не противостояли друг другу, а когда вот гром грянул, произошло объединение. Что-то все-таки объединяет. какие-то фундаментальные интересы объединяют, нам нужно
That I agree with. I'd say that's the best point he's made.
нам нужно вот на это обращать внимание прежде всего. Знать наши различия, но при этом все-таки обращать внимание на тот позитив.
Ending positive. I like it. Well done. The thing is, it's really great to be a collectivist person. It's really great to try and help others. That's wonderful. That's amazing, and everybody wants that. But to force that upon people is not right, and that's when there's pushback. That's when there's people kind of going all out to look out for themselves. They're afraid that what they have and what they've worked for is going to be taken away. I think there is ways to deal with that in terms of if there's people who are maybe mentally ill, or just there's something wrong in terms of, not that hoarding is always mental illness, but in terms of hoarding power and wealth, I think it should be dealt with, because otherwise you have things like monopoly. We have anti-monopoly laws, which actually haven't really been followed in America as of late, which I think is contributing to our problems. So I think it's encouraging that sort of thing is great, but forcing people into cooperation, into collectivistic mindset, and not giving people a chance to grow the wealth and use that wealth to help the country. Because some people are growing a business because they want to do it, and it's productive, and it's giving people jobs, and it's helping, and they don't really use that much money for themselves. It just goes all back invest into the business, or they might use a tiny fraction of that. And so I think you should let those people do that, and that's why I'm very much an advocate for high like luxury tax and things to encourage people to not spend so much on excess wealth type of things, and invest it more into the economy and into paying people salaries and jobs and things like this, innovation. So anyway, a little off topic, but hope you like this. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Hope you have a good one. If you would, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Not, that's fine. But thanks. Take care.